Get into some game picks. Let's get into some game picks.
Yeah.
We've got a full slate. We got limited time to get through it. The producer's in my ear just screaming. Thursday night, we've got the Los Angeles Rams traveling to San Francisco to take on the not dead 49ers. Are the 49ers all the way back? Are the Rams all the way back? Rams have looked good, at least this past week. It's a physical team against a physical team. This one's tough. Addison, I'm going to have you start us off.
I think both teams are semi-back, and it's sort of false hope for either team because I think whoever's in the West, truly, but I think whoever's in the West is making the playoffs is going to be the free team in the playoffs for the NFC. And regardless, if it's the 49ers, Cardinals, Rams, or Seahawks, it's a loss, just straight up.
South winner probably too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but for this game right here, I'm taking the Rams plus the points, and it's because of Sean McVay's post-game speech. Let's go beat those fucking 49ers. And the way they played against the Bills, if the offense is going to look like that, we'll see. I don't know if San Francisco can keep up with an offense that's going to actually score points. I know the Bears' defense did not stop San Francisco at all. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. George Kittle was wide open pretty much every play. If the Rams don't let that happen, I'm sure their offense won't score 28-plus. So give me the Rams here plus the points in a division game that's going to be frisky, and it's going to be a battle between McVay and Shanahan.
Okay, Sage.
Yeah, right now I'm just looking at the weapons, and the weapons are Puka, Kupp, and Kyron Williams versus Kittle and Jawan Jennings, really. And Debo's kind of fallen off a cliff out of nowhere. So I'm going to roll with you, Addison. I'm going to go with the LA Rams right here as well, plus 2.5. I think Matthew Stafford's playing out of his mind. They got that defense rolling just enough to where they can win some games. And San Francisco is not the San Francisco of old anymore, you know? So give me the Rams right here in a tight one.
Yeah. Hey, last week was an outlier. The Bears are that bad, I think. So you really can't look at that and say San Francisco is full back. I think. I mean, hey, little hope for them. But
the Bears suck.
The Bears do suck. I mean, they suck. So it's like I don't know how much stock you can take into a ass beating against a bad team.
That's a good point.
Easiest game to pick last week.
I
really wish I went with my inclination I had of Niners for my mortal lock because, damn it, that was so free. Two teams riding a huge high. Offensively, Rams just came out and just lit it up against the Bills, but they gave it up as well. Niners lit it up against the Bears, didn't give it up as much. I'm going to take the Rams with you guys in this spot. I just think healthier weapons, both offensively, and the Niners' defense this year hasn't been inspiring for me at least. And so I can see the Rams continuing the success they had last week and rolling that over into this game.
Yeah, like San Francisco had sacks last week. Mm-hmm. Matthew Stafford will throw that ball away, and they will not turn into sacks against the Rams. So their defense looked pretty good last week, but is that real?
Maybe they'll decide to defend George Kittle
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Because, my God, that first half.
Yeah, they will.
138 on 5 catches is absolutely absurd. That's a half, by the way.
Oh, man. This one's really hard for me to pick, man. Like, I'm struggling with this one. You guys have all rattled off great reasons why it's the Rams. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to take them to win by 3. Just win by 3. I think that Rams just match up perfectly with the Bills. You look previously, they beat the Saints by 7. Okay. They lost the Eagles by 17, beat the Patriots by 6, and lost at home to the Dolphins by 8. They're not been that inspiring. They haven't been that inspiring, and I don't know what Sean McVay's record versus Kyle Shanahan is, but I want to say Shanahan's got him. I want to say Shanahan's gotten him several times. And yes, the 49ers have been really bad recently. Wow. I don't think I knew how bad they've been.
Before they get
Their previous games, they lost to the Packers by 28, and they lost to the Bills by 25.
I don't know if you were watching, but the point differential screen just kept popping up. Previous 3 weeks.
Previous 3 weeks
50,
is awful.
Plus 30.
Yeah. That was a tough game, by the way.
I mean, that graphic of total yards in the first half.
What was it?
God.
310-4. That is crazy.
I enjoy that team, boys.
Oh.
I look forward to watching that team play weekly.
Oh, my God.
I'm excited for Monday. I can't
I'm
wait
excited for Monday.
I want Monday here. I love watching it. And it's seriously, I might be crazy.
It's a problem.
I might be crazy.
I'm gonna stay with the Niners. Just win by 3. Weird one. Everyone's probably on the Rams because the Niners look like shit. I'm gonna take the Niners for chaos in the West.
Yeah,
we want chaos in the West. We want chaos in the
West.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm talking about the Rams more than about the Niners, man.
If the Rams make the playoffs, that's a team I don't think a division winner wants to see.
I guess that's the one. That's gone.
Shit.
Yeah.
That pen is like toast.
It's over here.
Oh wow.
What's your 8 pens?
Oh no, I can't. That's my lucky pen. Give me the Niners. Screw it. All right. Chiefs at Browns. Kansas City on the road, favorited by 4.5 points. Sage, you got a face. I'm going to Sage first. Sage is giving me a look. Shit, I got to put the pen down.
There is no way I'm not taking Cleveland plus 4.5 right here.
Right?
Yeah.
Kansas City's going to win this game by 2.
Yeah.
And I have no problem saying that. They're not on my power rankings because they are just going to win this game by 2. They're not going to win a playoff game. It's so unreasonably. I can't. There's no words for it. It's unfathomable how many times they get away with winning these games.
It's devil magic.
It is devil magic, and we say this every week, and I'm not gonna just expound on this over and over. I do think Cleveland gives them the best, or Jameis Winston gives Cleveland the best chance to win here.
Yes.
He's gonna throw, I think, all over the place. Last week they played who last week? I can't.
Pittsburgh.
But yeah, Pitt. And Russell Wilson was throwing all over the place without George Pickens, without their number 1 receiver. I mean, if he can do that, I have no problem thinking that the newfound Tom Brady, Randy Moss connection in Jameis Winston and Jerry Jeudy is not going to continue. They're doing everything they can to just stay in games, and I think it continues here. I think Jameis Winston's probably going to throw a pick with the last 3 minutes left. To seal it.
And the Chiefs go win by 3.
Yeah, they're going to win by 3 somehow. I don't know what's going to happen. It's like a bingo card. We should make a bingo card for every Chiefs game to see how they're going to win.
The problem is that they would do things that we don't even have on the bingo card.
Yeah.
They would get shit that we don't even think about
Right.
because that's how they're winning games.
They'll be like blocked punt, safety,
blocked field goal,
that
going to field goal through.
I will believe it's truly rigged if a ball goes off left, up, right, up, right.
Yeah,
and then
going.
Then I will believe that
It's
this
rigged.
is rigged.
That ball has a magnet in it.
That would be insane.
But this also just feels like a big Jameis game too.
It does.
You know,
Chiefs defense hasn't been as good recently.
It hasn't. Yeah, they've kind of deteriorated.
Sort of cooled off.
Well, they lost to Jerry
Yeah.
Letting him
Trent
go.
McDuffie's getting toast.
Yeah,
Hey,
he is.
Jerry Sneed fucking blows.
Jerry
He's
Jeudy's
a
best
product.
player.
He's a product of
He's
the
the
Chiefs
worst corner in
defense.
football,
Yeah.
PFF rated.
He's on the Titans.
Yeah.
You go to the Titans and you suck. It's just
Yeah. I'm on the Chiefs here, baby. It's fun to have that 7-game streak against the spread is snapping. And again, I brought
the
it.
longest in their history.
Yeah, I brought it up the other week, and it's a question I want to ask again, and it is in all seriousness. Is it better if the Chiefs lose these games? I mean, or is the conversation different that if they lose to a couple of these teams, like if the Chiefs lose 2 or 3 games before the playoffs, and I get they don't have the 1 seed probably in that scenario, but they've lost, but then they win a couple. You know, they lose this week, lose next week, week 17 and 18. And they're on a 2-game win streak with 3 L's on the season. Is that better for the Chiefs? Do you feel more confident because they lost a couple games close? Like, I get that.
Ugly wins over
I get it. And this is the same argument I'm sure Steelers fans had, Vikings fans had. What, do you want them to lose the 1-score games? But it's like, I don't know. I'm taking the Chiefs minus 4.5, and it's only because I can see Jameis throwing for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and they're back-breaking picks. They're like, damn, Jameis, we had a chance to be in this game, chance to win this game. I'm going to go Chiefs by 5 just because that spread's going to keep getting lower and lower until they do cover.
6.5.
Yeah, until they do cover.
Me too.
Damn, I'm still taking Kansas City minus 4.5 though. But if they get to like 2.5 against a bum team, I'm going to be saying, damn, that's sad. But give me the Chiefs.
Man, we're going against each other a lot, Addison. It's going to be a big week for one of us. I'm going with Cleveland. I'm going to take the home team here. I like Jameis Winston. Just go out and sling it. And the Chiefs defense can get got. And Jerry Jeudy's been awesome. I mean, the Chiefs have played a couple 3-win teams. Panthers, they beat them by 3. Raiders, they beat them by 2. And I hate saying this, and I don't want to keep saying it and using it against them, but we are just a couple of bounces away from the Chiefs losing to the Broncos, lost to the Bills, losing to the Panthers, Raiders, Chargers. I mean, they could be on a 5-game losing streak.
Did you argue Ravens earlier?
Yeah, right.
Fair argument. No, I get it.
Bengals early.
No,
Bengals?
I get all the arguments, but
Falcons,
if you're giving me 1-5 against people,
Then it's a win.
I'm taking 1-5.
If this was
Until
money line,
proven
on
otherwise,
Chiefs. If it was
I'm
money line on
taking
Chiefs,
1-5.
I won't take a
He's lost
spread.
to 3 quarterbacks in the playoffs. One guy is the GOAT, and
Yep.
the other guy is Burrow.
Yeah.
We're on an elite season.
Yeah, true. Very true. Oh, if this was playoffs, Chiefs all
I
the
get
way.
it. It's regular season, but that's just
And the
way I do
spread, I just don't like them in the spread.
it. No, I get that.
0-7 in their last 7 games against the spread is crazy. The fact that stat came out made me think they're going to cover this week because it's like, why are we talking about this?
Right.
Don't talk about this.
You know Cleveland spread's getting hammered by the public.
Well, it has been. I mean, if it already dropped 2 points, that's a huge public money. It's going to be the most bet. You're right. Chiefs are probably going to cover. I'm going to be a sucker and take the Browns.
I don't know. That's a sucker play. We talked about it, 7 straight. They haven't covered.
True.
I am going to be with Addison on Kansas City. I don't like Addison and I riding the same train because we might have great weeks, might have bad weeks. Joshua Palmer had Trent McDuffie in the absolute torture chamber last week.
What's Jerry Jeudy going to do to him?
What's Jerry Jeudy going to do? I was doing the Njoku dance when he
You were,
scored last
you were.
week. Needed AJ Brown touchdown to cash a parlay. Screw you.
Yeah, didn't get it.
But give me Kansas City in this spot. I think Cleveland does have the opportunity to keep it close here, but I do like Kansas City to maybe capitalize on a Jameis Winston mistake or two and win this game by a ton.
Okay, I'm going to have you keep it. Cincinnati at Tennessee. Line is Cincinnati minus 4.5 is the Brian Callahan Bowl. Revenge game.
Yeah, seriously.
Brian Callahan.
This game gives me the stank face because you look at Tennessee and what they are, and then you look at Cincinnati and what they are. Cincinnati's going to score 24 plus.
Yes.
They're going to score 24 plus. And can the Titans, who just scored 6 against the Mac Jones led?
Yeah, they can't score 10.
Yeah.
I'll say Bengals worst defense in the NFL.
True, but
Jacksonville, I don't know.
far behind.
Yeah, there's a few teams down there.
Jacksonville ain't far behind.
Dallas got to be close.
Dallas was right there.
Jacksonville got to be bottom 5.
4.5 is a tough spread, especially because Cincinnati, in recent memory, I think they played in Tennessee a couple years ago. Whatever it was like.
5th worst. Bengals 4th worst. Raiders, Cowboys, Panthers.
It's ugly.
We're in elite company.
Elite company.
We got the 2 worst defenses going at it against each other this week. Cincinnati scares me a couple years ago. They were in a much better spot when Tennessee lost outright. I'm pretty sure Ryan Tannehill. Yikes.
Yeah, they did.
But give me the 4.5 with Cincy in this game. I am going to be scared. But I don't know if Tennessee scores 20.
Yeah.
I don't know if they score 20.
No, if you can't score that many points against the Jaguars, who are just as bad of a defense as the Bengals, and you're going to give me Joe Burrow, who's playing at an MVP level against the Tennessee defense, like, okay, Brian Callahan, yeah, you may know what Joe Burrow likes to do. That does not mean you have the personnel to stop him. You can't. I mean, Jamar Chase, you think the Cowboys didn't know they were going to throw the ball to Jamar Chase? 14 grabs, 2 touchdowns. No shit. He's gonna. I don't care who your corner is. He's going to go off. Yeah. You scored 6 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars with Mac Jones, who beat you. That is pitiful. I mean, that is so bad. I need a big game from Tony Pollard, please and thank you. But Bengals minus 4.5. I love that.
A big game from Tony Pollard is in store. Rico Dowdle last night for the Cowboys, 130 rushing yards, and that was very impressive. I was sort of pissed because I needed Cooper Rush passing, and Dowdle just kept getting the fucking rock. But hey, it's because it's because the Cincinnati Bengals defense rushing-wise is bad, and I guess maybe the Titans can keep it close, but hey, they're going to be able to run the ball and not score touchdowns. Cincinnati's scoring touchdowns. It's as simple as that. I could see 35-plus from Cincinnati. That's how good their offense is. Tennessee will not compete. I will say this, Cincinnati, a couple turnovers last night, or at least one guaranteed off rush, so I think they'll turn over Levis at least once, because that man loves to give it up. So give me Cincinnati to cover, and it's just because Burrow's going to score points.
Yeah, I mean, everything you guys said, double it, because
Double it, pass it to the next person.
Double it, pass it to the next person. Just because Cincinnati's going to put up points, Tennessee can't put up points against literally one of the worst defenses in the league. I mean,
6 points.
6 points? They were my mortal lock last week because Jacksonville is playing Mac Jones and have a terrible defense, and half their receivers are on IR, and they still said, you know what, we'll give you a 10 and lose.
The Jags have like the worst rush defense in the league.
It's absolutely insane.
And Pollard had a great yardage, but they couldn't get. You can't get in the end zone against them. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. So Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that one game they played was week 1, I'm pretty sure, when they beat them a couple years ago. It was early in the season.
I think it was week 2.
Week 2.
Or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the Bills just
Could have been 5.
Yeah.
5.
It was week 18.
Week 18.
No, the Bengals were like, early season woes.
They
So
suck.
I think they just came off a good win, and it's like, okay, Cincinnati's right here.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
Tennessee's.
Oh, I remember exactly the game you're talking about now. Yeah.
All right, pass her on
It's
there.
like 29.
I think Derrick Henry threw a touchdown in that game.
He might have.
It was 29-24.
Oh my
I'm
God.
out of here.
And then he's done.
Not giving you guys the rest of my picks are all wins.
They're all wins. Suckers.
And my mortal and 3 wins. Just take my word for it.
Take your trust me, bro. Next up, we've got Washington traveling to the Saints. Lions Washington minus 7.5. Give me Washington minus 7.5. Saints are going to be without Derek Carr and without Taysom Hill. That's all I need to know. That's all that I need to know. Taysom Hill is the only reason they win games. Washington coming off of a bye.
Does it
No.
change your mind?
If
No.
it has to do with the Saints, I'm not listening to him.
Well, I guess this does have to do with the Saints. It's that really, really bad look ripping your young punter like that. Again, he kicked it down the middle and you wanted a sideline
And
punt.
Kamara had to separate.
Really
It's
bad look
crazy.
for the interim coach, and there goes any possibility
Yeah.
of a future
See ya.
job as a head coach, man.
Special
You'll get a
teams
special
coordinator
teams
somewhere.
coordinator
Special
for
teams
sure,
job
but
somewhere for him.
that's not the look head coaches do in the NFL. These are
No.
grown men, and you're a grown man. You don't. I get it if it's kids, sort of, but still, it's
27-3.
inexcusable.
Okay, so it's not 29.
Uh, But give me Washington minus 7.5 as a joke. Hayner blows. Daniels is going to put up big points. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think this game has potential to get pretty ugly. I think 7.5 is pretty generous, honestly, on behalf of the New Orleans Saints. They did just sign a quarterback today, Ben DiNucci.
What?
So you never know what's going to happen. DiNucci might just go up. No, I don't think he's going to play. He's definitely there for emergency quarterback reasons because all of their quarterbacks that take the field go down. So why not have another guy? They used to have one just built in and Taysom Hill, and he's gone.
Now he's hurt.
So poor Titans, poor Saints. Sucks to be them. Poor Titans too. It sucks for a lot of teams right now.
It does.
But I think Washington right now they're in the 7th seed for the playoffs, and I think they're going to fight for that spot. Daniels might not even play the fourth quarter. This might be a Mariota fourth quarter.
Yeah, this could be very similar to that Titans game where they're up 21-0 real quick.
Yep, real quick. Colin.
Quick gripe on last week's game with the Saints. Demario Davis definitely did not give himself up on that pick.
No.
Momentum's going back.
No.
He slips, falls forward, gets up, whistled. I don't know if it blew or
blew it
not.
dead. They blew
and
it
he
dead.
runs for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Would have easily
What?
covered. Wouldn't
Yep.
have had a late game scare if they don't blow it dead on
True.
clearly a player not giving himself up.
Almost lost the freebie over
Dumb. Yeah, come on, Reska. Heads out asses. But yeah, you talked about it. Hayner came in last week and immediately, 3 and out?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they can't move the ball. Alvin Kamara can't get a touchdown to save his life, apparently. You get down to the goal line, just give it to anybody else but him, I guess. I don't know. Give me Washington in this spot. I do think they run it up, and we probably see Mariota as well.
He drags them to the goal line, and then they give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Seriously.
I think it's been like 4 or 5 straight weeks. that he hasn't scored a
That's
touchdown.
what happens to Saquon Barkley every week. Every single week. He gets him down to the 1. And then Jalen Hurts says, I got this one.
Yeah, there's
I got
ran
one.
those 70 yarders. It's the only way he can fucking score.
Yeah, he has to score that way.
I said that before the year, too. I'm like, hey, whenever you come in, you better not have any incentives in your contract.
Yeah.
Touchdown incentives, because you get there, you ain't going to get them.
You're not getting them. Nope, that's all Hurts. Biggest spread of the season so far. Baltimore Ravens at New York Giants. Line is Baltimore minus 14.5. I'll start us again. I'm just going reverse order this time. Baltimore minus 14.5. Thank you very much. The only reason I would not take Baltimore minus 14.5 is if Dexter Lawrence was playing. He's not. So how do the Giants stop Derrick Henry, and how do they stop Lamar Jackson? And then how do they stop Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews? And yeah, it's going to be an ass kicking. This game is going to be ugly. Drew Lock looks bad. They should have tied the game against the Saints, maybe gone to OT. Fantastic. It's the Saints with Jake Hayner. Good job. This is Lamar Jackson coming off of a bye. Yes, it's against the Giants, who were his only NFC loss for a while. But now he's lost to the Eagles, so that's done. We can just move on, forget about that stat. It is what it is. But it is Lamar against the NFC, and he's, 25-2? 23-2, which is insane. They're going to win this game big. I just hope it isn't too big because I need a lot of love from Derrick Henry. Please and thank you. Colin.
Last week, took the Philadelphia Eagles, team that was riding really high against a team I think's bad in Carolina at 12.5 points. Now, the Eagles do like to play down, but guess what? I think Baltimore also likes to play down a little bit to their competition. 14.5 is just too many points for me. I mean, that's more than 2 touchdowns. I think Baltimore does win this game by double digits. Do they cover and win by 15 or more? I don't know. So give me the Giants, my New York Giants.
Your New York Giants.
Hey, you said if Dexter Lawrence was playing, he'd be on the G-Men with his Daniel Jones. I'd be on the G-Men.
True, he does have Lamar's number.
He's running no against that guy. I'm on the Giants here, plus 14.5. Colin, you just said it. It's just a lot of points. I do think Derrick Henry has a monster game. I think Lamar has a monster game. I just think the Giants do enough to backdoor cover. I think Baltimore will be up 21 points at one point, maybe even 24, and the G-Men just do just enough. Just enough.
Yeah, by 50.5.
Maybe. I mean, it's either that or the G-Men are covering.
Yeah.
It's either going to be a monster blowout or I think G-Men backdoor cover.
This is one of those games where it's either a monster blowout or the Giants win.
I can see it, but I think it's just a backdoor cover. And Ravens win pretty convincingly, and Lamar's happy at the podium.
Okay.
I'm not too worried about this game money line. I think Baltimore takes it. Obviously, I don't think there's really much of a shot with the Giants right here, especially after Lamar, his last press conference, his mama cussed him out, said, "You're gonna run, all right." I think you take the over on whatever his rushing yards is.
Yes.
Because I think he's about to let it rip right there. I think Derrick Henry's about to let it rip. But I do think Malik Neighbors is going to have a good game. Because our secondary, while we've tightened a lot of things up, we've changed a lot of things up in the secondary. Our Darius Washington is now playing safety when he's been a corner forever. Torched corner, but as safety, things gotten cleared up. I don't know what happened. I'm really happy about that. TJ Tampa is in his practice window right now. Michael Pierce is coming back. Our defense is getting right, which is exactly what I wanted to see. As for the Giants, I mean, Drew Lock last week, absolutely terrible. And they were playing against the Saints. You know, the Saints are also terrible, and they lost. Granted, they had that last kick that they got blocked, all that stuff. But still, like, if they can't even get close to the New Orleans Saints with that kind of roster, I don't think they stand a shot in this game. Given all that, I'm going to take New York Giants to cover just because I cannot take Baltimore right now for anything because I'm superstitious.
Yeah, superstitious, that's right.
I think we get a big Lamar touchdown this week, like 40-plus yard rushing.
This game
Like a
just feels
spin move
ugly.
against Cincinnati, and he's gone.
Like, I think the Giants have already planned their vacations, and they are playing for the number 1 pick in the draft. Like, you want your QB pick, this is how you do it. You lose, and the Ravens aren't going to take the foot off the gas.
Hear me out. 7 touchdowns for Lamar. Is he back in the MVP conversation?
Maybe.
But
In the conversation.
Deserved.
Because they might lose back-to-back games against Detroit.
I mean, Lamar should still be in the conversation. It's recency bias. Lamar has 3,300 passing yards, 29 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
And then on the ground, he's got 3 rushing touchdowns and 700 rushing yards. I mean, he's got 4,000 all-purpose yards and 34 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's a crazy season. Yeah. I mean, he's balling. Dallas at Carolina. Addison, I'm going to swing it over to you. Carolina minus 1.5. Panthers favorites, baby.
could you imagine at the start of the year seeing this spread in Week 15 and seeing Carolina minus 1.5? Ah, man, I crossed in Carolina here for my pick, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to take Carolina just because Dallas' defense can get got, but I believe in Cooper Rush that he can operate the Cowboys' offense well enough. I almost want to say it's not his fault they lost. I mean, blame that number 27 guy. I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your name, but you fucked up pretty bad on that punt return, my man. Yeah, they had a shot to get the ball, and who knows what happens. The Bengals' defense is bad.
A block punt, they get the ball on the 40.
Yeah.
They're in field goal range for Aubrey. Like, that's game.
Yeah.
You just won the football game against the Bengals.
And instead, big choke job. But I'm going to take Carolina here, and it's strictly because Bryce Young, giving him his flowers. I've already done it a bunch this pod, but I think he's going to continue it against Dallas. The defense has picked it up a little bit. If Micah Parsons cracks him, who knows what it looks like. But I'm taking Bryce Young and these Panthers minus 1.5.
When I look at these rosters, it literally seems like a coin flip because they're almost the same roster. You know, like legitimately, aside from a few superstars on the Dallas Cowboys side, like Micah Parsons, Carolina doesn't have anyone like that. You know, they had Brian Burns, they traded him away. You know, they have J.C. Horn, who is having a decent year.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't have any corners like Diggs. They don't have any corners like Deron Bland. Yeah, they don't have those guys. But even those guys aren't playing like the superstars that they were. You know, so I'm gonna go with Dallas right here. I already marked Carolina, but I just talked myself out of it. I'm gonna go with Dallas right here just because I believe the superstars got to play like superstars at some time. They still have CD. Rico's been kind of on fire recently. And I think it's gonna be yet another close finish loss for Bryce Young this year.
I can see it. I guess I should say this, though. Cowboys' locker room is demoralized after that loss. And Panthers got to be high right now. Even though they did lose, they still got to be feeling good vibes.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much killed the Cowboys' chances at the playoffs by losing that. And it is hard to see DeMarvion Overshown's knee injuries. They're saying not good. Probably an ACL.
They said right away.
Yeah, not good. You hate to see that because he was really coming into his own as their starting linebacker. Still have Eric Kendricks there, though. This feels like a game where everyone's going to be on Carolina because Carolina's looked good. They've looked good in losses. Losses. They've lost the games. Give me the Cowboys as the underdog to win this game. Sage, that was the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth. These are the similar rosters. Show me a CD Lamb on Carolina.
You see Xavier will get talking like this.
Xavier will get dropping the game-winning touchdown on a wide open ball.
I think the rosters themselves are playing similarly this year.
I don't want to hear it.
Look at the rankings.
I don't want to hear it. Cowboys are a better team. Cowboys are going to win this game.
I picked the Cowboys.
I know. I'm just saying. But you had Carolina marked, and everything you said was pro-Carolina, and somehow you switched. I don't know how that happened. But
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I'm taking. I don't know how that happened. I'm taking the Cowboys to cover. I think Cowboys are going to win this game. Carolina, yeah, no, Cowboys. Bryce Young is still a bust.
Bryce Young, not a bust.
7 touchdowns, 7 picks.
Limited play. I guess I could go one way or the other.
One way or the other. He's thrown 7 picks.
Has looked a lot better the last
Has
few
looked a
weeks.
lot better.
This is a tough game because, as you said, Addison, coming into the year like this, seeing the spread, I would be jaw dropped.
Yeah,
coming into
stunned.
this. Dallas has been a better road team than home team this season. However, I am going to take Carolina at home in this spot. I just think too many injuries. You kind of mentioned it, Nate. Dallas down to one offensive lineman.
Yeah, they had one reserve lineman available. And then Tyler Smith got up slow. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
They're out. They've got one more.
Not great.
You put Zeke in there, guard if you have to.
I mean,
He's played some center. He's played some center.
They play center.
He's played some center.
Although that was the worst play I've ever seen.
Worst play of
Second
all
worst
time.
play I've ever seen. The worst was probably the Colts and that fake punt.
Yeah, that was
Whatever
really
the hell that
bad.
was. But give me Carolina here at home. Too many injuries on Dallas' side. That Cooper Rush argument from a few years ago is completely dead. That guy is an absolute bum. Give me Carolina.
He is an absolute bum.
He sucks.
Greg Jennings, one of the worst things he's ever said on television was, is Cooper Rush that much worse than Dak? I don't know. He's 6-1 as a starter. It's like, shut up. Watch the games. Just please watch. Please watch the games, okay?
The defense is giving up an average of 13.7 points.
A lot easier to win. A lot easier to win the
This isn't
game.
a defense that's holding opponents to 13.7
No.
points.
No. Next up, we've got Addison's New York Jets taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Line is Jets minus 3.5. Jags coming off of a shock win. Jets coming off of an expected loss. Jets 1-6 on the year. Rodgers finally threw for 300 yards. Finally. 3-10. 3-10. I don't even care. But he still lost, which made me happy. That's all right. He still lost. And the season is still dead. But same for the Jags. So, 3.5 points. Jacksonville, home dog. No, I'm going to take the Jets minus 3.5 here. Rodgers is if Rodgers plays. If Rodgers doesn't play, we'll see. He should if he
doesn't play, definitely the Jets.
definitely because Tyrod Taylor's yeah, very true. Rodgers will put points on Jacksonville. Tennessee couldn't, but Rodgers will. Devontae Adams and him looked good this past week. Garrett Wilson. I mean, it would have been nice to maybe cover them. We just didn't think to do that. I get it. That's a hard thing to decide to do. Cover the receivers. I get it. That's a risky move. But I just like the Jets to be able to move the ball up and down against Jacksonville, who is an awful defensive football team. Colin.
Yeah.
So many road teams.
Jets were hitting a lot of the short stuff last week and talking about Jacksonville's corners and their linebacking core. I don't think they have the personnel to guard these guys in the short yardage situations, and the Jets love to pepper those quick throws. 3.5 is interesting. House of Horrors in Florida, obviously, for Rodgers continues. Although he did play well last week.
Played well.
But I think it's at that point of the season. You talked about the presser earlier. They have nothing to play for. They literally have nothing to play for besides draft pick. And does Rodgers actually care about their draft pick next season? I kind of doubt it. Whereas Jacksonville might care about their draft pick. But give me the Jags to cover 3.5. I think they have enough to keep it close.
Addison.
Yeah, Jets let me down last week, losing to an inferior opponent and the Dolphins. I mean, they had it in the bag, but again, another Jets loss. Where they had the game, and I mean that's been the season for the Jets, where it's they're in position or at least look like they have a chance to compete and win football games, and they figure out a way to lose. Yeah, I'm still taking the Jets minus 3.5 because sure their offense at least looked decent last week against Miami, who's been playing extremely great. And Miami's offense made them score points, and they at least answered the call. I like to think that at least translates over to against Jacksonville, who really just stunk it up against Tennessee. I mean, 10 points in a victory, but Tennessee sucks and can't score touchdowns, and you win by 4. That's a victory that you'll take, but yikes. Give me the Jets minus 3.5. It's not pretty. I mean, the Jets suck.
They're bad.
Yeah, the Jets are really bad.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said, the Jets are bad. The Jacksonville's just worse.
Yeah.
You know, I will say Aaron Rodgers threw for 300 yards, first time in over 1,000 days.
2021.
Yep, very true. The entire Deshaun Watson tenure never did it. The entire James Harden on the Sixers never did it. 3 presidents. Crazy. But here we are. He finally made it. 300 yards and a loss. In a lot. You gotta add that in. But they're playing against Jacksonville, who, like you already mentioned earlier on, their defense is what, fifth worst? Fifth worst in the entire league. And with the weapons they have, I mean, even Braylon Allen looked pretty good last week. He was catching balls out of the backfield. He put up 12 points for my fantasy team. Not enough. Sorry, dude. I don't know how Isaiah Davis got that touchdown aside from you. When he went in, I was cheering because I didn't know any other running back they fucking had. And then I noticed it was someone else. I was like, God damn it. Anyways, give me the Jets right here. I think they're playing Mac Jones again, so I don't think they can lose this game. If they do, I will be utterly impressed.
Yeah, that would be an impressive loss.
Impressive loss. And then if he loses this game, Aaron Rodgers is not back.
Yeah. No, yeah, done.
I already think he's not back, but
done.
agreed.
He didn't even want to play. He wasn't even going to play football until the Packers said we're done with you.
It makes I agree. I would make me happy though for the Jets offense now to just start clicking.
Yeah,
they've been eliminated. Now all of a sudden they start dominating, and it's like, where's this team been all season?
Yeah. Well, the problem was that they fired Robert Saleh when he was 2-2. You're a 500 team, and you fired Robert Saleh, who was taking so much off the plate of Jeff Ulbrich. Now you take Jeff Ulbrich and you say, you got to do defense and head coaching stuff. Full plate now. Good luck. You've never done it before. And then the defense suffers because of it.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a huge mistake. And I'm really glad they did it because Robert Saleh was a very good defensive coach.
Yeah, you are. Yes.
Next up, last noon game. Big one. Miami at Houston. Line is Houston minus 2.5. Colin, I'm going to start with you. What you got in this one?
This is an interesting line. I'm just looking at the two teams here. It's going to be a high-scoring game, in my opinion, as well. Houston coming off the bye week, getting a little bit healthier. Miami just coming off a kind of an emotional win, beating the Jets at home, comeback win in overtime. Decided to get Johnny Smith finally going in overtime for some reason.
Throwing the ball till overtime.
Yeah, and then he gets 70 yards or whatever.
And a
touchdown, 3 catches.
It's crazy.
Best player in the
They ran the same play. Yeah, the fuck is back and it worked.
Yeah, he's very close to breaking the Dolphins' all-time tight end receiving yard.
No wonder they were throwing the ball instead of Pitts last year.
Yeah, seriously. No, seriously.
It makes sense. I don't know. This is a tough one for me to pick. I am going to take the home team off the bye with the 2.5 spread. I do like that number a lot. So give me Houston at home here.
Okay, Addison, swinging it over.
Yeah, I don't care that they're off the bye and they're the home team. I'm on the Dolphins, and it's
attaboy.
yeah.
Staying hot on the Dolphins.
I've been high on the Dolphins. I think Houston sucks, really. Okay, obviously they don't full suck. They're good enough. Yeah, they might be pumpkin mode. I think they're good enough where if they make the playoffs, the team's licking their chops if they see them and say, hey, this team's wounded and we want them. Yeah. Yeah, we want the Texans. Yeah, no one wanted them last year. This year you want them. And yeah. But I think Miami is fighting for their playoff lives, and they just got to play who's in front of them and control what they can control, and that's the games that they play, no one else's. And the way Miami's offense is playing with Tua since he's returned from his millionth concussion, but hey, if he returns like this after every one, why is there a conversation?
Listen.
Why is there a conversation that he needs to retire? The man comes back and balls. It's a tragic injury, but it's like
Reagan Knight said it best. Sometimes you get knocked on the head and you get special powers.
Hey, he's absolutely balling since he came back. I think it was like 17 touchdowns, 1 pick or something like that. And it's like he's absolutely their offense is completely rolling. Nate, you said it. Is McDaniel a Tua merchant? And maybe you guys need to invest in somewhat decent backup quarterback. You guys should have got Tyrod. But Miami plus 2.5 with Tua. Give me an explosive offense plus points against a team that their offensive line is lackluster in Houston. I think Chop Robinson might have a little impact in this game. So give me Miami Dolphins plus 2.5. They probably win outright, straight up. Colts.
Huge, yeah. Colts.
That's what you need.
I know.
You want to get.
I texted Bobby. I said, I said Colts win the division. Dolphins get in the playoffs.
Yeah. I will say, all things considered, I do think that Houston is just a more aggressive team, and that's why I'm going to roll with Houston here. I know it's at Houston, they're in a dome, all that stuff, so I'm not too worried about the weather aspect for Miami. But Houston right here, I think they have better weapons. I will say better weapons.
Whoa.
Nico Collins, I think, is better than both Hill and Waddle right now.
Okay,
and I would take.
You would be wrong, but that's okay. Continue.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not talking statistically.
You take Tank Dell or
talking with
Waddle.
No, but I'll take Joe Mixon over all of your running backs right now.
Yes, 10 touchdowns.
Yes, but I would get 10 touchdowns if I had 8 targets a game.
Would you?
Yes. Because he gets all of his targets. He gets all of his targets at the 10-yard line.
I think it's fair to say Mixon is better running back.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins have the better receiver.
Better weapons,
right?
yeah.
But if
Smith over Dalton Schultz.
Fully healthy.
Better weapons. Yes. I would still put C.J. Stroud over Tua right now.
Tua has almost. Okay, continue. You go ahead.
That's fine. I'm taking everything.
Part of this is Sage saying he'd have 10 touchdowns at 13.
Yeah, I have 10 touchdowns in the NFL.
Put me at the 2-yard line. Throw me a ball with a screen.
10 touchdowns. Yeah, because you can outrun them.
Exactly.
Easily.
Exactly.
Or juke him. Yeah, make him this game. Make him
Or
this.
run through him.
Yeah, go through him.
Who am I playing against? All right. if I'm playing against
Emmanuel Forbes, I'll give you.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine.
Y'all see Emmanuel Forbes? Shoot.
That's the only defender you have to go against, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, if we're playing against the Rams practice squad.
And it's man on man. You
Yes.
versus Forbes.
Pros?
We're going to go through him a couple
I'm picking him up.
Pros versus pros. Emmanuel Forbes might actually.
I'm taking him with me.
He would lose. He would lose to some Joes. Jesus.
I didn't even think about it. I was like, yeah, absolutely. No, give me Houston right here, just because I think the team is in a better position to win. I think they have more to play for right now. Obviously, they're only 2 games ahead. Miami's not going to the playoffs, dude. I know you have beliefs, but how many games do they have won right now? 6?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. So they're 2 games back out of the playoffs.
Yep.
And with 4 games to go.
4 games to go. Have you seen the Broncos schedule?
The Broncos schedule is ridiculous.
Broncos schedule's that's fine. That's fine. But you guys still lost. You guys lost to the Colts, right?
We did.
And
They've
the
got
Colts.
the head-to-head on us.
So the
That's
Colts
right.
have the head-to-head on you.
Yep.
And then we're looking at all the other teams. Like the Bengals are also 6 and.
No, 5 and 8.
Are they 5 and 8?
5 and 8. We've got a game on them.
Okay.
They
Okay.
still have to play some tough ones
You
too.
need the Colts to win that
Colts
division.
need
You
to
win
win.
Houston, so then you have the tiebreaker versus Houston, and you can tie the record. That's
I don't know. I think it is close, and obviously the spread reflects that. But I am going to go Houston right here, just based off gut. I'm not impressed with a lot of what Miami does.
Right, just scoring 30 points a game, 3 of the last 4. It's fine.
Against who?
The Raiders. Sage, you got something to say? Say something about the Raiders. You, down there. Say something about the Raiders. Do it. Say it.
Are we okay.
Say something about the Raiders. I dare you. I dare you, Ravens fans.
They had Gardner Minshew then.
Can't argue with that.
Gardner Minshew has the Ravens number.
He does. Gardner
Gardner
Minshew.
Minshew rallies Raiders past Ravens. What? With 3 fourth-quarter scoring drives. What?
I know Devontae Adams
That
ate us
happens.
up. Are you looking that up?
I just stumbled across that. I'm
It
sorry.
somehow just popped.
I didn't even click anything.
Will Anderson's about to
me a
throw
line.
to his head against the turf.
I'm really glad the NFL did suspend Aziz Al-Shaair.
good.
That was
You
smart.
were definitely
Well,
right.
also acting like the victim now.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. Well, and because he's got Mahomes after this. They've got the Chiefs after this and then Lamar.
Yeah.
It's like, you cannot play those quarterbacks. No. You're not allowed to do that because you're going to hurt one of them.
At first I was like, oh, of course they saved Mahomes. He said Lamar. I was like, oh, yeah. He better
Saved,
not.
yeah. And then concussion, boy. I mean, they saved the 3 quarterbacks you got to save
Yeah,
going up against the
really
Texans.
tough, really.
And I say all of that. Obviously, I'm as a superstitious person, much like Sages, I'm taking the Texans minus 2.5 points. I do like that hook. I always say it whenever I can get it. I like that hook. But the spread is reflective of what they think of these teams, and they think Miami's better on a neutral field. I like that. Miami's offense has looked good. The Texans' offense has looked okay. We want to talk about C.J. Stroud over Tua. I'm willing to have that conversation. However, you look statistically, Tua's significantly better pass completion, better yards per game, more touchdowns already. More touchdowns in 4 or 5 fewer games, and he only has 4 interceptions to C.J. Stroud's 9 interceptions. So statistically, give me Tua every time right now, how it's going. Joe Mixon's a big piece of this game, but that interior offensive line is very suspect for the Houston Texans. They're going to have to move the ball. And I'm still taking Tyreek Hill over Nico Collins. Absolutely. That's silly. But I say all that. Give me Houston minus 2.5. Talking about the
Miami
Raiders.
creates pressure. I think they win the game.
Yep,
And
that's what it's going to come down to is can we get home?
It turns into as well. Who gets ball first? I know it's dumb. I hate.
I want
taking
ball.
First.
I
almost
want
think
ball.
This is a scenario where you sort of do want ball first.
You wanna go
If
score.
can score.
I wanted the ball against Green Bay.
Or you could try to get Nixon out of the picture.
Yeah, get ahead of him, make him
'Cause
become
if the
one-dimensional.
Titans-
Catch the ball, though.
That's true, but if the
Yeah.
Texans, I mean, it's different when you're able to turn around and give him the rock 25.
Right,
because
right.
You're winning or it's a close game. If you're down 14, his carries are dropping 10 carries.
Yes.
Just because they're down.
Right.
So it's like, if Houston gets up, though, I think it could be tough for Miami just
To come
because they're
back.
gonna wanna-
I think Nico's about to have
Houston will pound the rock.
Yeah, Houston will pound the rock. I think both teams are going to score points. It's
I
going to be a
guess
high-scoring
I can see
game.
it being a shootout. I can see it being a shootout.
I think it's going to be a
I think
high-scoring
Dolphins
game.
score any points.
You think Dolphins score 0? 0 points for Miami. That's what Sage is calling for.
2 safeties.
4 points?
That would
That's
be wicked.
disgusting.
That would be wicked.
All right, moving.
Scorigami for sure.
Scorigami for sure.
Last week Scorigami for the
Yeah, we
Kings.
did Scorigami
A
last
winning
week.
Scorigami.
Well,
That was nice.
you love that. All right, 3 o'clock slate. 5 games at 3 o'clock slate. It's very weird. I hate that.
Yeah.
Move one of these to noon. Give us 8 at noon for the Octobox, and give us 4 at 3. I don't understand.
Makes sense.
I don't understand
Makes
what the issue is.
They
NFL.
literally pitch a package and then they screw their own
They
package.
screw it up. Yeah, it's stupid. Indy at Denver. Denver minus 4.5. I'm going with Denver minus 4.5. Only because I want the Colts to win. I don't want to pick with my heart. I want to pick with my head. Denver's looked good this year. Denver has looked really, really good coming off the bye. Both these teams coming off the bye, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare. Sean Payton versus Shane Steichen coming off the bye. That's what this comes down to.
Yep.
And I don't know. We'll see. I like how Anthony Richardson has played. He still doesn't have really the numbers this year, but I'm done looking at the numbers. Let me just see some growth. So I think Indy has a fair shot in this game, and I just don't trust Denver yet. Is that weird to not trust Denver yet? I just still don't trust them at 8-5.
Well,
I just don't know.
We'll have to see. I mean, that's the end of the schedule. Here's your real deal test.
Yeah,
about it.
it's time.
You're the real deal. Let's see. Let's push us into the playoffs against 4.
Like, hypothetically, this is their easiest game left.
The Colts are the worst team they play
It
the rest
is,
of the way.
100%.
They're above 500, or they're right at 500, and I mean...
Broncos have Colts, at Los Angeles Chargers, at Cincinnati Bengals, and then host the Chiefs. This is their easiest game left for sure. Huge. That's a really tough 4 games. Yeah. That's why I'm not dead yet, Sage. That's why I'm not dead yet. Because look at that schedule. That schedule's brutal for Denver.
Who are you guys' last 4 games?
They're cakes, I think, really.
We end with the Jets and the Browns, who are both 3-10, and we have the Niners in Miami next week.
That is a tough one.
These next 2 ones are, if we win these next 2 games, we're getting in the playoffs. If we don't, obviously we're not. But moving on. Give me Denver minus 4.5 here. Colin, I'm swinging it to you.
This line is a little fishy. Talking about if you don't trust Denver yet, I trust them more than Indianapolis, though I will say that. Both teams coming off a bye. I've said it time after time this year. I love Denver's front 7 defensively. That's going to be their rush defense in most situations.
Yeah, they lead the league in sacks, I'm pretty sure, unless they got passed during the bye week.
Unless they got passed in the bye week, lead the league in sacks, as you just said. I think they can hold Jonathan Taylor to a minimum here in this game. I think they can contain Anthony Richardson enough to cover the 4.5. I wish it was like 3.5.
Me too.
But 4.5, I'll still take Denver at home. Mile High, tough place to play.
Okay.
I am on the Colts here plus 4.5, and it's just because Bo Nix, right before the bye, came back to earth just a little bit against the Browns. He threw 2 picks. It's not his fault the defense gave up big yardage to Judy, and the game was close, but Bo Nix turned the ball over a couple times, and he had not been doing that in the previous weeks when he was really hot. So I'm going to go with the Colts just because I think it's going to be a close game. Hey, Mile High Air, Rich is going to throw the ball 100 fucking yards in the air. That shit will travel 90 yards in the air. Yes. Watch out on a deep go by Alec Pierce. But I'll say this for Rich, 2 game-winning drives since he's came back, and against the Patriots, 4 fourth-down completions. Back up against the wall. It wasn't just an easy-peasy drive. 4 fourth-down completions and a 2-point conversion to win. That's very impressive. Get it was the Patriots, but hey, it's the NFL. They're frisky. I think the Colts are fighting for their life. They win this game. They've got cupcakes on the schedule.
Yeah,
hopefully they're not looking, towards the cupcakes. You got to win this one and think it's going to be easy work the rest of the way. It'll obviously be tough. But this is their Super Bowl because if the Colts lose, you could almost just say season's cooked. But so I'm going to take the Colts plus the 4.5 just in the fact that I think that they're going to fight and it'll be close. I don't know if they win, but close enough to cover.
Yeah, I am one of those Denver believers over here. I believe. I think he has potential to take, if he can do it, if he can get through this 4-game stretch, take him to the playoffs. Don't win a playoff game. He could be the offensive rookie of the year. Jaden Daniels has. I think he should be leading it. I think Jaden Daniels has not fallen off a cliff, but he's fallen off a bit in production, and some of that is due to their running game actually picking up a lot. Brian Robinson having a great year, but no, Denver right here, he's making these receivers work. Cortland Sutton, I mean, he's been great this year, and in past years we knew he had potential. He kind of reminds me of like a Terry McLaurin type guy. Yes. He's never had someone to
reached it,
right. But now he's got the guy tossing him to the rock, Marvin Mims is scoring touchdowns. They have all these players playing up to their potential, which is absolutely huge for Denver. I don't really see that for Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, he had a good game. He led a game-winning drive. But other than that, the vast sample size is not showing me he can do this, especially against the Denver Broncos defense who... has had one bad game against Jameis Winston. But aside from that, they've been solid most of the year. Yeah. So with all that taken into account, Jonathan Taylor not doing anything this year, I'm going to go Denver.
Yeah, and I'll say they still picked off Winston multiple times.
Yeah.
Pick sixes, so it's like they did at least turn the football over. Jameis just threw for hell of yards, but... Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a big game. I mean, this is playoff implications written all over it.
Yeah, these last 2 games are playoff games.
I think Cincinnati might be a little easier, but at the end of the day, their offense is going to put up points, even against a good defense in Denver when they play. Oh, yeah, they got 4 tough games, Denver. Hey, Bo Nix, you said it, Sage. If they make the playoffs, definite offense rookie of the year. 100%. This will cement you as a real deal because you got to play some real quarterbacks, at least in Burrow and Mahomes, and then Herbert to end the season.
It might come down to which team besides the Commanders and Broncos make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, seriously.
It might.
Yeah, seriously.
No, you're good. All right, next.
Even though it should be Brock Bowers.
Yes, it really should be, 100%. Buffalo at Detroit, game of the week, potentially. One of the games of the week, because the next one we talk about is really good, too. Lions, Detroit, minus 1.5. Colin, I'm swinging it to you.
Yeah, the battle for Pennsylvania has gotten a lot of love as the game of the week. I think this is actually the game of the week. Bills, Lions, are you kidding me? And this is at 3 o'clock in the 5-box window. Yep. It's like, come on, man, give us one of these games.
That's okay, just take out Arizona, New England, watch the rest of the game.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Detroit only 1.5 at home. This is disrespectful. This line, in my opinion, you're telling me they're 1.5 dogs on a neutral site?
That's what you're saying.
The Detroit Lions?
The 12-1 Detroit Lions.
Give me the Lions at home. 1.5, I'm not scared. Josh Allen, probably another superhuman performance this week, but Detroit just too strong on their side of the ball as well.
Yeah. Yep. I said it earlier on in the show. You look at when the Bills go up against teams that can dominate them on the line. Baltimore Ravens, Ravens beat them by 25. The Rams, they just gave up 44 points to Matt Stafford and that Rams offense that hadn't done that all season. Best offensive performance by the Rams all season long. They just had it. Detroit Lions are going to push them around. They can absolutely push them around. The Bills' defense is not as good as it has looked all season. They just don't have the guys. Their guys just aren't there. And Detroit's offense is so good. They're going to be able to run the ball all over them like the Rams did, and then Goff is going to be able to sling the rock. I just don't know how. I mean, this line is fishy, man. This line is fishy. Why is it only 1.5? Why is it only 1.5?
Is this line fishy? I mean, obviously, these are two top 3 teams in the league.
Yeah, I think it is fishy though, just because
Lions should be favored by 2.5.
they're not. I mean, I get they're favored, but
they're saying the Bills are the better team.
The Bills.
Yeah, they're saying the Bills are the better team, and I just don't see that. At home in a dome, that's exactly what the Lions want. Give me Detroit minus 1.5.
So I think I might be answering my own question for Kansas City is if it's better if teams do take a loss. And I almost think of it. Maybe it is in my mind because I'm thinking about Buffalo and their game against the Rams. They're on a 7-game win streak. And they lost one game. Everything's hit the fan all of a sudden. I don't think that's how people are reacting, but it's like sometimes streaks have to come to an end. And Detroit's on a 10-game plus one.
Yeah.
They've lost week 2 and haven't lost since. Yeah. I think maybe the line just thinks, Detroit's cut it close the last 2 weeks. 3-point victories against the Bears and the Packers. Again, they're division rivals, so the games are going to be close, but Buffalo bouncing back after a tough week. I could see it. And I'm going to go Buffalo plus the 1.5. I could easily see Detroit just absolutely dominating like you guys are saying they should. But fishy line, I'm going to ride the fishy line because it's weird. Why is Buffalo only plus 1.5, especially with the way they looked last week on their defense? But maybe it's because Detroit's defense is absolutely dismantled. Injuries are everywhere. So is Josh Allen just going to explode like he did against the Rams? And can they get a stop? Who knows? The line indicates maybe they will. So give me the Bills plus the 1.5 in the weird fishy one, and I could easily see Lions winning by 10 now.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious Detroit is playing at home, all this stuff. I think the Buffalo Bills, this line I think is coming down more to the respect of Josh Allen rather than to
Josh Allen keeping it close himself.
Right.
Oh, 1 point close? Like 2 points close? Like that's...
I mean, he did it all by himself last week.
That's true.
Basically, they lost by 2, but
Detroit's better than Rams.
I agree. Detroit is a lot better than the Rams, but how many... Josh Allen did everything he possibly could. Yeah.
You can't... He scored fucking 6 touchdowns and they lost.
Right.
Himself.
Which is absolutely insane. The highest fantasy quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
Right there in one game.
Absurd,
crazy. Yeah. But I'm going to roll with Detroit here just because they are at home. I think that stadium is about to be rocking. Oh. It's going to be bumping.
Good playoff game atmosphere, for sure.
100%. 100%. It could be Super Bowl preview right here.
It could be.
You know, I just think Detroit is just firing on all cylinders way too much. And I feel like we've been saying this for 5 weeks straight. And you're like, oh, they got to bounce. They got to, kind of come to a stop. Yeah. When is it going to stop? And they just keep it going. I mean, even last week they played Thursday night against the Packers, which they do have 3 extra days of rest right there.
True.
Keep that in mind. Little mini bye. But even last week, I mean, Dan Campbell, he said, apparently before the game, they're like, if it comes down to it, we are going for it. We're not going to give them a chance to win, And then it came down to it. They went for it. And with the way that the Packers were rolling, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Packers do tie it up, within that last 30 seconds.
And then take the chance out of your opponent's hands.
Yeah.
If you go early, you give them hypotheticals. Josh Allen, talk to him about chances 13 seconds. The guy you're playing this week. He knows damn well how fast things can flip when you think the game's over because you scored late.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think I trust Detroit's defense more than Buffalo's right now. I think, obviously, you mentioned the physicality. If Buffalo's getting pushed around physicality-wise on defense, that won't happen to Detroit's defense.
No.
It simply will not. So, give me Detroit.
And I also think Detroit has more to play for, which is kind of crazy to say. Like, Detroit has not won their division. Yeah. The Bills have. Bills have already won their division. They're 2 games back of the Chiefs. So if you're expecting the Chiefs to lose 2 games, you have to be perfect, and the Chiefs have to go 2-2 to take the 1 seed. That's very unlikely.
Well, Detroit needs that 1 seed.
Detroit needs the 1 seed, and they're only a game ahead of Minnesota, and they play in Week 18. You can't slip up now. Yeah, you cannot slip up now, Detroit. So I think that Detroit's like, we've got to keep rolling. Either Addison's going to have an awesome week or the three of us are going to have a good week because Addison has been alone the last 3 games.
That's scary.
That's terrifying. All right, Pennsylvania battle for Penn here. Pittsburgh at Philadelphia. Lions, Philly minus 5.5 points. Yeah, I'm not taking that, brother. Give me Pittsburgh. Give me the road team. Pittsburgh plus 5.5 points. Pittsburgh keeps every game close. Win or lose, they keep it close within 3 points. Philadelphia just barely covered this line against Carolina Panthers this past week. So they didn't because they were 12.5 point favorites. They covered 5.5.
No.
They won by 6. They won 22-16. So they covered 5.5 points, but against Carolina. Pittsburgh is better than Carolina. So give me Pittsburgh to cover 5.5 here. Addison. And I'm a big Eagles guy.
Yeah, I'm also a big Eagles guy. They're high in my power rankings, but I'm taking another team in my power rankings plus the 5.5 points in a game that I think is going to be close. I just don't look at Philadelphia's offense, especially with the news coming out this week of the fractured relationships. They're going to have to get that figured out. I just don't see how they gel magically against a really good team and a good defense. I get through at home. I like that for the Eagles, and I like Saquon. He's going to be an impact on the game, but I'm sure Pittsburgh's going to know that, and they're going to do everything they can to slow him down, make Jalen Hurts beat you throwing the football. And if you do that, you have to live with it. But at the end of the day, maybe Pittsburgh thinks they can keep up even if they do score a bunch of points. Pittsburgh's been lighting it up offensively. Philly's defense is all right. It's improved the farther the year's gone on, but I just don't think it's the home run hitter it had been the couple years prior. So I'm going Pittsburgh plus the 5.5. I think Najee has a decent game. Jalen Warren gets a little bit more involved in the backfield because right now he's getting less and less, so I want to see more of him. But give me Pittsburgh plus the 5.5. And hey, as crazy as it is, this could be a Super Bowl preview.
Yeah. No, this is definitely a hate watch for me.
Yeah.
I hate both these teams. One of them just beat us. The other one is the Steelers, so I hate more than anyone.
Yep.
I am gonna roll with the Pittsburgh Steelers right here to cover 5.5. These are my 2 and 3 team right here in my power rankings. So I think I'll very highly of both of these teams. I just think Pittsburgh right now is they have the defensive players to not only make this game close, but to change the game.
Yeah,
TJ Watt can change the game. I don't think Philly has game changers.
Yeah.
They have a great defense, but the changing the game is huge. I think TJ can get that strip sack.
Yeah.
I think Highsmith is going to tear through that line, and they can contain Saquon Barkley. They have the players to do that, and I think it matches up well for Pittsburgh. Whereas Philadelphia, I don't think they match up well against Pittsburgh.
I don't know if they do.
Yeah, I don't know if they do either. I'd probably say the best player on that Philly defense too, Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Quinyon
damn
has
good.
been really good this year.
Quinyon as well. And hey, that's a couple pieces.
Quinyon
But
Obey.
yeah.
Okay, nice. I like that. Colin, are you going to be the only one to take the Eagles here and make us all look foolish?
Ooh, I didn't hear you say Pittsburgh.
I let us off with Pittsburgh.
Shoot.
You ride solo dolo.
I'll say the only thing faster than Jalen Carter on the field is him in his car. Just kidding. Not really just kidding. I'm completely serious.
That was a really bad accident.
Yeah.
I do think TJ Watt is a game changer defensively for Pittsburgh. I think Jalen Carter is that for the Eagles as well. He can create a lot of havoc up the middle against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that likes to get that run game going.
So I think Warren has a bit more impact, so you run it outside.
Yeah.
Get the speed out.
I think this is a low-scoring game.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh as well. I know our clean sweeps last week weren't great. Or were they 1-1? Okay, 1-1. But give me Pittsburgh on the road. Too many points. I like Tomlin a lot. Obviously, we glaze him every week. I'll take him on the road. Big matchup in state. Give me the Steelers.
Okay. I like that. So
Philly's winning by 10.
Yeah, Philly's blowing them out. Yep.
And I had taken 6 straight home games, so I got to take
Yeah, I'm on the
True.
road streak.
You are. You've only taken 2 home teams the whole week.
I'm taking that on team next game.
I am too. New England and Arizona. Arizona minus 6.5. Yeah, give me Arizona, baby. New England, a little frisky, keeping games closer. I don't care. They're bad.
Yeah.
Arizona has to win.
Yeah.
Arizona has to win. Can we please, also Arizona, I have a novel idea for you guys. You have this receiver. His name's Marvin Harrison Jr. Throw him the ball, dude.
Yeah.
Throw him the ball. You picked him at number 4 overall. First non-quarterback selected in the draft. Considered to be a generational wide receiver prospect, and you're just like, yeah, maybe 3 targets a game. Maybe you throw the ball through. What are we doing? Throw it up. He's not getting the separation because that's not his game. Give him a chance, and he's going to catch the damn football. It is so simple, and they just won't do it. I'm hoping they do it against New England. He's going to be up against Christian Gonzalez. It's going to be a good matchup. Just throw the ball up, guys. He's going to go get it. Give me the Cardinals minus 6.5 here. Addison.
Yeah, I like Arizona minus 6.5 as well. NFC West craziness ensues, and that will be Arizona winning this football game. They need to figure it out offensively. What's going on? I mean, should Marvin Harrison be pulling the Malik Neighbors and bitching in the locker room? They're not calling plays like I'm out there. At the end of the day, I think Neighbors has a point, and if Marvin Harrison Jr. was saying, I think he'd have a point as well. That you brought up, why draft a guy this high than to not force feed him targets? Because if he's a bust, you need to figure that out. And guess what? Having him run air routes ain't going to figure that out. It's just going to lead to more bust talk. So let's just throw him the football, even if it is sort of detrimental to the offensive game plan. You have to scheme your best guy the ball. Good teams do that. That's how you get wins in the NFL. Get your best players the football. That being said, I'm taking Arizona minus 6.5. I can see Marvin Harrison not having that much of an impact,
Probably not.
if Christian Gonzalez is in the game, especially with how they use him already. But James Conner will have a big impact, though. So I'm going to have him having a decent game, and the Cardinals covering 6.5 against New England, who's just ready for next year. But they are excited.
I would argue their best receiver is getting the ball, and Trey McBride.
He has 20 more targets than Marvin Harrison Jr. does.
I would argue that Trey McBride might be tight end 2 in the league.
Behind Brock Bowers?
Behind Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers is
God, he's so good. He's so good.
Dude, and it was so casual, too.
I know. He's just like, this is what I do.
That's
I mean,
a nerf ball to him, man.
That's a building piece right there.
Crazy.
You don't have a whole lot of those in
That's a
Vegas.
piece that a coach will go there for because you know
on
he's
a
that
coach's
good.
team.
right? You know, Hall of Fame type.
Yeah.
He got the pedigree.
Yeah.
That being said, I am going to take Arizona right here, minus 6.5. I think New England has potential to keep it close, but I think Arizona has a lot more to play for right now. Obviously, their division is haywire. You don't know what's going to happen these last 4 games. Could end up winning the division. Could end up not being in the playoffs. It's such a
last in the division.
yeah, but also that's just how this game plays, or how this team plays.
Yeah.
This team is all or nothing almost every single week, and I think this is going to be an all game. They're playing against New England, who has middling talent all around. Sometimes to play above their talent.
Generous. Middling talent is generous. It's an
Middling
insult to
talent.
middling. It's an insult to middling.
Fair. Sorry, Atlanta Falcons.
They appreciate that.
But Arizona, they have pieces that can put this game away. And I hope Marvin Harrison does get the ball more. Like you said, if you draft this guy 4th overall, why is he not getting the ball twice a drive at least? You know, I mean, if you're running down the field and scoring, why is this guy like they what was it 2-3 weeks ago? They had a press conference and they were like, we are going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball, right? And then for that first quarter, he had like 3 catches, a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened.
Not targeted again.
Like, how did they forget that they had this guy on the field? Michael Wilson is doing better than him this year. So I can't imagine how frustrated he is. Like, it's absolutely insane. That being said, New England's a different kind of train wreck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. is thinking about playing for his daddy's team already.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be traded to the Colts, please and thank you. Colin.
Yeah, talking about Michael Wilson just piggybacking that first HUD last week, absolute dot from Kyler Murray to the corner of the end zone there.
Yeah, go for it. You're good.
Arizona's just a team. I know you guys are all on them this week. I just haven't liked what I've seen the last few weeks out of Arizona, whereas obviously the Patriots are the Patriots. Give me the Patriots. I'll ride solo here just for them to keep it close. Lose by 6, lose by 5. Cover 6.5. New England Patriots. Don't want to see that team off the bye.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Yeah, I mean, we'll say for Arizona, their last 2 wins were against the Bears and the Jets. Addison's 2 teams. They beat Addison's 2 teams, but then they lost.
I got the Chiefs and the Eagles as well.
True, very true, very true. And also, I'm going to stop talking because I stopped at the Bears game, ignoring the fact they beat the Dolphins the week before by 1. So I'm just going to ignore that. Yeah, Arizona's a little suspect, 6.5, a lot of points. But man, the Patriots are pissed.
They are.
All right, let's jump into the next one. We'll just have Sage fill in when he comes back in. Tampa Bay at LA taking on the Chargers. This one's a huge game for both teams. Chargers can't afford to lose much ground in the playoff race when they've got teams chasing them. And the Bucs are in the lead for that division right now, but you don't want to slip up. You can't slip up, especially when your next games are Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. If you blow this one and give Atlanta a chance, Atlanta has the tiebreaker head-to-head. So that's what this game comes down to, is which team needs it and wants it more. And, man, I just think Jim Harbaugh's going to have the boys rolling. I think he's going to have the boys ready to ball. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 2.5 at home just to win by a field goal. Coming off of a tough, heartbreaking loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, who they just get owned by. So go ahead, give me the Chargers, Colin. Your Chargers.
My LA Chargers, I do like them in this spot as well. I'm going to take them at home with a 2.5. talk about a team that defensively, I think they can contain that two-headed monster with Rashad White and Bucky Irving on the other side for Tampa. Haven't been too impressed. Obviously, Mike Evans coming back from the injury. Cade Otton's had a pretty solid season. But I think if you can stop or limit that running back duo, you have a lot of success in this game. Dicker the kicker with 2.5 spread. He's going to drill a field goal to win it, so give me the Chargers.
Yep. And since we're losing Sage, I'm going to swing it over to you and have you finish out your picks for us, including your mortal lock.
That
and
works.
And then your fantasy sleepers.
All right, so we're on the Chargers-Tampa Bay game.
Chargers-Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Chargers right here. Their defense showed so much last week, and I think they can contain Tampa Bay's offense, even though I do love Bucky Irving and Rashad White.
Yes.
Bucky Irving, unfortunately, went out of the game. Hopefully he's playing this week. But Baker Mayfield's doing just enough to keep that offense rolling, and I'm very impressed by Baker Mayfield. He's worth every single penny they're paying him right now. That being said, LA Chargers, give them to me. Give me the Harbaughs.
Okay.
Sunday night, I'm going to roll with Green Bay. I think Seattle's a bit of a fraud right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, they start 3-0, then they're 3-3, and then they're just such an up and down team, and I think it's about time for that pumpkin to rot. Give me Green Bay right here. Put up a huge fight against the Detroit Lions.
Great game.
Playing a lesser team right now. I think they win this game by more than 3.
Okay.
Monday, give me Minnesota. Don't have to say too much against the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, I mean, they're doing all they can. They're trying to get on the right path, but I just don't think it's enough to go up against Minnesota, who is on a streak right now. And last but not least, that last Monday night game, give me Atlanta.
Yeah.
They're playing against Desmond Ritter. Yeah. And Desmond Ritter...
Revenge game.
By
the Falcons.
It could be a revenge game. They could put him in Vietnam. He could fight the war again.
He wishes he was back there.
And he does.
Football for this team.
But unfortunately, Atlanta, I think, just has too much against Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Bowers.
The Las Vegas Bowers is right.
That is.
Chargers.
You're our last pick in
Tampa
that one.
Bay.
Yep,
Yeah, I
Chargers
do love that quote by Jim Harbaugh. He gave him the presser talking after the Kansas City game. He was quoting Sir Andrew Barton, excuse me. He said, "Fight on, my men. I'm a little wounded, but not slain. I'll lay down and bleed a while and will rise and fight again." That's such a Jim Harbaugh shit to say. But it's so true, though, because, hey, you got cut against the Kansas City Chiefs in a heartbreaking fashion. Your season's not over. You still have 8 wins, and you're a damn good football team that just competed with arguably one of the best teams in football down to the wire. You got to be hyped if you're a Chargers fan. I think this game is going to be close, but I think Baker Mayfield's going to do what he's done almost all season, and that's throw for yards, throw for some touchdowns, and also turn the football over. Baker, when he doesn't turn the football over, Tampa Bay almost looks like they can't lose. When he turns it over, they look sort of mid. So give me the Chargers minus 2.5. The defense creates a couple turnovers, creates some pressure with Khalil Mack, with Bosa. So give me the Chargers minus 2.5 at home.
Okay, and I'm going to give it right back to you. We're going Sunday Night Football, Green Bay at Seattle. Lions, Green Bay minus 3. You've been on the pumpkin talk for Seattle, but you hate the Packers. So
I do hate the Packers, but I love them in this slot. So give me the Packers minus 3. I am not ashamed to glaze LaFleur a little bit. He's an elite head coach. It basically boils down to, is Jordan Love going to turn the ball over more than once? If the answer is no, I think the Packers cover this easily. Jordan Love does turn over the ball a couple times. Seattle will have life. But I'm going to go with the prediction that Jordan Love keeps the game clean. Josh Jacobs has a decent game. And Jaden Reed bounces back after the zero burger against the Lions. So give me Green Bay minus 3. I think bit of a beatdown because Seattle is facing a real playoff contender. And again, as Sage said in his pick, Seattle might be a little bit of a fraud. And guess what? That would just make the NFC West that much closer.
Yep.
So why not Packers minus 3?
I love it. I'm also on Packers minus 3 here. I just think better team.
Yeah.
Packers out to prove just a little something after they lost to the Lions. I mean, they're the third-place team in the NFC North, which is crazy.
2 losses to the Lions are 1-score games.
Yeah, they've been right there both times. I just don't think Seattle can keep up with them. And like you said, I think we're going to have chaos in the NFC West. So give me Green Bay. Colin.
I'm right there with you guys. Another sweep here for the pod on Green Bay. Minus 3. Just talking about Seattle, the pumpkin is inevitable. Talking about their wins the last few weeks. Haven't been too impressed in their wins the last couple of weeks, kind of against iffy opponents, if you will, with Arizona a couple weeks ago. And then who they just beat this week?
Who?
Seattle.
Seattle.
Germany.
Arizona. They just beat Arizona. They beat Arizona. They played them 2 of the last 3 weeks.
2 of the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
That's the trip up there. But give me Green Bay on the road. Just better coach, in my opinion. More weapons offensively. And you talked about it. If Love can contain the turnover-worthy plays, Green Bay's going to win this game. Josh Jacobs going to run wild.
Yeah. I just want to get pictures of Geno Smith, or I guess a pumpkin, like when Geno signed the pumpkins in Cinderella's dress, and it's nice and pretty. And it's like year 1, it's a little rotten. And it's like year 2, all right. At this point, he's still in the dress, and he's like, really fucking rotten. Because he's just like, man, what's the future like for Seattle? It's not Geno, but he's there right now.
They don't have
Probably
anybody
foreseeable
else.
for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just continuing your stay in this purgatory of mid.
Yes, bingo. That's exactly where they're staying. Monday Night Football. NFC North matchup to start us off here. We've got Chicago Bears, the Bears, at Minnesota take on the Vikings. The line is the Vikings -7. Didn't these teams already play? Wasn't it close?
Yeah, it was. But
Overtime,
Bears
man.
for 11 though. The last minute 40.
That's right. It was that game, and we needed the Bears to cover, and they did. Gentlemen, absolute gentlemen. They just got spanked by the Niners, and the Vikings just spanked the Falcons. I'm gonna take the Vikings. I don't love it. I don't love taking the home team here, taking the Vikings. Especially to cover 7 points, it's a lot, but they just did it against the Falcons, and the Falcons have been better than the Bears this year. Colin, coming to you.
It didn't sound like that.
No, it didn't.
Someone else.
I know. Who was here?
Sorry.
This game here, you talked about it. I kind of overreacted putting the Vikings number 2 in my power rankings. Looking at the 2 teams playing last week, obviously Minnesota dominant, Chicago dominated. Give me the Bears +7 in this game.
Baby.
They've played their division tight this season, and I
True.
believe they play another tight game here against Minnesota on Monday night. So give me the Bears +7.
All right, Addison, resident Bears fan.
Bears 3 games against the NFC North is 7-point loss, or 7 points total in those 3 losses, and against the San Francisco 49ers, it was 25 points in 1 game. But Caleb Williams in his play against Minnesota in the blitz is what's making me pick the Bears here. He answered the bell call, the cowbell, whatever it is, whatever this, when the Minnesota Vikings blitzed the first time these teams played, Caleb Williams was very good against it. And I'm assuming that Minnesota is going to blitz again because that's Brian Flores' go-to. He might drop back more because Caleb struggled a little bit against zone against them, but he was ripping the ball in the tight windows, and one of his best games, start to finish, is against the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm going to take the Bears +7. Bears are losing most likely. But like I said earlier in this pod, I'm a freak because I'm excited for this football team to watch them Monday night and get to hear the shit commentary. But give me the Bears +7.
Gonna be brutal
Yeah, are we
commentary.
getting Joe and Troy, or are we getting the backup squad?
Probably the backups. Probably the B team. Probably the B team. Although this other game sucks too.
We'll probably get Joe.
I mean,
Troy.
Atlanta at Vegas. Atlanta minus.
7 too.
Yeah, true. Starting early. Atlanta -4.5 is the current line. Sage is on Atlanta. I'm on Atlanta too. Just plain and simple. Who's quarterback for Vegas? Is it Desmond? Probably Desmond Ritter.
It will be probably.
Yeah, that's very easy for me. Atlanta sucks. Atlanta sucks. But wow, is Vegas bad? Vegas is cooked.
Yeah, Vegas is really bad. I will say, if Kirk Cousins does not throw a touchdown in the first half and the Falcons are losing, I think Penix will play the second half. I think you have to get to that point, even though the contract's extensively large for Kirk Cousins. But, man, the play is inexcusable for a team that, again, had control of the division. They were controlling it by their fist that was closed. And instead, they've given it to Tampa Bay now to run wild with their control of the destiny. So Penix talk has got to be heating up. If they don't perform well, it's happening sooner than later. But give me Atlanta -4.5. It could be Penix, and they'll still cover if he comes in.
True. Colin.
As much as we like to talk about Vegas' fumble against Kansas City, if they would have won that game, they would have gone from the number 2 pick all the way up to number 8 pick based off strength of schedule, I heard yesterday morning, which is crazy. So shout out Vegas for losing. I do think Atlanta does bounce back in this spot. I just don't trust Vegas at all at any point in the season, especially this point with Ritter. So give me Atlanta and a bounce back.
4, 5, 6 sweeps so far. Now, Bobby has to send us his picks still, so we might not have that many.
We're going to have to tally up the total clean sweep record.
Yeah, I will say 1-1 last week, and prior to that, we had a 5-0 on our clean sweep
we've had
week.
some good weeks.
We've had some really good weeks, so I will have to go look back at the tape and check on that. So, Mortal Locks. Cincinnati -4.5 with Sages. I'll start us. I've won my last 2 Mortal Locks, getting hot. Therefore, I will not be taking the Texans minus points because I've been hot. Denver -4.5 is going to be my pick in a game. 3-11. I'm hot. We're back. I'm going to take Denver -4.5 points here in a game that they got to have. Got to have it.
So you make that one.
So I make that one my Mortal Lock. You like that? Come on, Colts. Let's see something. Give me Denver -4.5. Yep, that's all. Colin?
Going to be short and sweet. I got cute last week with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm going to take their opponent from last week. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 2.5 at home against Tampa. I like them to bounce back and win by 3 or more.
Okay, and Addison.
Screw Sage for going first because I love the Cincinnati.
So take him.
I don't want to ride in the same lock as Sage.
So you can't get a game on it. You just buy it.
I'm going to go Miami plus the 2.5, and I just think it boils back down to Houston. As much as what Sage was saying is somewhat true that they've got good weapons. I believe they have good weapons, but I think it's going to be a shootout, and guess what? That means it's going to be close, so I'll take the team with points. And I think it's a lock. Miami wins the football game because I think they're going to make the playoff race interesting. So give me Miami plus the 2.5 as my lock.
Love it. Love it. All right, hottest segment in all of sports. We got people on television bragging about almost being 60%.
Yeah.
We're above 60%, baby. Collins locks 26-16 on the year. What do you got for us?
Well, I got a few here, keeping the same formula. Finally, the teaser hit last week. It's the only thing that saved us and won last week. Plus 180, so only lost like 0.2 of a unit last week.
Yeah.
First one up, straight bet. We're going to take Philadelphia's team total under 24.5 points. I do like Pittsburgh's defense as well as the drama in the locker room. Now, maybe that elevates the offense. Maybe it demoralizes the offense.
Yep.
24.5 is a lot against a Tomlin defense. Minus 120 odds, so a little bit of juice there. Still getting $8 on a $10 bet with that those odds there. The 5-point teaser. And now, if you are a true betting person, you are probably going to throw up in your mouth when I do this because I am breaking a cardinal rule when you do teasers, but I don't care. First one, it's going to be the last of the three. First one, we're taking Washington from minus 7.5 down to minus 2.5 at New Orleans. I like them to win by 3 or more points. Next one up, we're going to go up with Pittsburgh from 5.5 to 10.5. I don't see them losing by 11 or more against Philadelphia unless some crazy shit happens. And then this is the cardinal rule you break. You never cross a 0.
Oh.
And so, but I'm doing it because the Chiefs are winning, so I'm taking them from minus 4.5 to plus 0.5. They just have to win or tie.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's
They
a
can
great
tie.
pick.
But the cardinal rule is you never cross 0. But I'm doing it because I believe the Chiefs will win.
Yeah.
Plus
absolutely.
180 odds on that teaser.
Plus 180. God, I love that. I love that.
180 every week on that 5-point teaser. Lastly, money line parlay. It's minus 102, so you're getting 98 cents to $1, so a little
Take
bit
that.
of juice. Taking Denver at home on the money line against the Colts. I do like them in a must-win game.
Are you nervous that I made them my mortal lock?
I am not nervous. Second one up, we're going to take the Vikings on the money line as well at home against the Bears on Monday night. Although I took the Bears plus 7.
So what is that, minus 102 you said?
Minus 102. And that's the 3 locks.
The Bears will keep it close, do something crazy.
And fall, lose in a sad way. All right, Addison, outrageous take for week 15.
Outrageous take what was a flip-flop last week. Said the exact opposite of what happened. But this week, hopefully, for Colin's sake, it is true. And it is maybe not the most outrageous, but it sort of is because it's 2 quarterbacks putting up insane stats where you don't think they would, but they're also playing bad defenses. Give me Cooper Rush and Bryce Young to combine for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns in the game of Dallas and Carolina. In Carolina, I think the defenses are both going to get exposed a little bit. I will say this. If Dallas' secondary is really coming back all healthy, I think their secondary will rapidly improve, even though the season's sort of busted. But I don't think it happens this week, especially if it's first snaps, fresh legs that haven't played a lot of football yet. Give me, again, Bryce Young, Cooper Rush to combine for 600 total yards and 6 touchdowns between the two of them.
I like that. Through 13 weeks, I mean, the Bengals have only scored 27 or less 5 times.
Yeah.
And 27 last night, so that's pretty dang impressive. True, very lucky. They should have lost that game 23-20.
And then I'm going to run through my sleepers this week. For a lot of y'all, first week of the fantasy football playoffs.
Yeah, huge week.
If you guys are struggling, please
We got some players for you.
play these players real quick and try to get through that first week while you got, who knows, maybe you got Bucky Irving who might not play. In case of that, let's play Sincere McCormick.
Nice.
On the Las Vegas Raiders. Atlanta has a roughly stout defense, but I think at least for rushing. But when you think of who's throwing the ball in Desmond Ridder, I don't think they're going to be throwing the ball too much. Give me Sincere McCormick. He's probably going to get a lot of those dump offs, a lot of those handoffs, maybe score a tutty here and there. I like him in play this week. For quarterback, I'm going to go with someone who was written off.
Oh,
Bryce Young.
okay.
Give me Bryce Young against one of the worst, if not the worst, secondaries in the league. I think he can tear apart Dallas right here and keep this game close. Obviously, I already picked Dallas, but if Dallas does get ahead, he's going to be throwing even more, you know? As for wide receivers, I've got 2 for you. One is MVS because they got no one else to throw to. on the Saints. And the other one is I'm going back to Las Vegas again in Trey Tucker because he catches 50-yard bombs like no one else.
Very true.
if you that is straight up just Hail Mary, like hope and pray someone's down there. Trey Tucker's that guy. And then for tight end, one guy I don't think any of us have mentioned probably all year, and that is because Will Dissly is out. Give me Stone Smart at tight end right there.
I like that.
Young gun right there. I think Justin Herbert's going to have fun with this little new toy and then throw him the ball in the red zone, get him a tutty.
I should have known.
That would have been so Bengals. On this
That would have been so Bengals. I bet the over on that game, so of course it goes under. That makes me sick. All right, that's all we've got for you guys on Week 15 of the NFL season here. Hopefully you guys have a happy Nate and a happy Bobby next week, or else I'm going to be in the mud and I'm going to yell at Sage a lot. So that's all we've got for you guys today. We will see you all in the next one.
Peace.